So today I want to talk to you about what things I've learned about riding in a Peloton on a cruise bike Vendetta. So we've been experiencing a lot of interesting weather conditions lately, which has kind of messed up a lot of the riding. This ride I'm about to show you is actually underwater right now. And it will be for probably another 2 weeks. So we're about 3 weeks straight. So we're just waiting for the water to slowly go down and go away and kind of let things get back to normal in Fort Smith. The Peloton it's a hard animal to beat. Whereas in a Peloton, these guys are rotating in and out. You know, they'll move to the front, sprint, move to the back and take a break and then move back to the front, and they're continually doing that. It's like a machine once they get going, and it's hard to beat, to stay out in front of them. So I've been working on riding with them more. I am still not comfortable riding in the middle of a Peloton. So from a position standpoint, I'm either at the very back or I'm at the very front pulling. And I tend not to get in the middle. And what I've realized, especially on the Vendetta, you're not a lot of help to them from a draft standpoint, either pulling or in the middle. You are helpful to them in the back because you're helping taking some of that drag off of the very back. You're helping relieving some of that pressure. Because when you talk to Peloton riders, what you'll hear is the middle is about the sweet spot. It's about the easiest that it can possibly get, is being in the middle of that Peloton, because you don't have that drag on the back of you, and you've got basically, you know, you've got someone in the front taking that load, that wind load off of you. So the back is actually not the best optimal place. So by hanging out in the back, you are providing benefit. I used to kind of feel guilty. I was like, oh, I'm just taking advantage of the Peloton all the time and I'm not out front pulling. But you actually are providing a benefit. And then when they slow down, or if it's a long straight stretch, I'll move out front and pull. And I know from talking to the riders, I'm virtually no benefit to them, but it does give them something to chase. So that is a benefit, because you're providing some incentive for them to ride even faster. I accelerate slower, but I also slow down slower. It's more predictable for riders if they are trying to draft off behind you or stay behind you. It's more comfortable. They have more time to react because you are speeding up and slowing down slower. So that's the good news if you're trying to ride with a Peloton. There's not a comfortable pedaling pace. I can't pedal full time, otherwise I'm constantly running into their back tires. So what I've found works best is I'll keep my gear set to where I can maintain about a mid-90 cadence, and then I'll give bursts of power and then just coast. And I'm doing that over and over as I'm trying to stay it's almost like a boat and a dock. You know, your goal is to never, if you can avoid it, never hit your brakes so that you're not wasting any energy. So you're just providing like a pulse of power to kind of keep you kind of docked into that position behind the last rider. And then another thing I found that helps if you are having a trouble overspeeding, which I tend to do, if you can kind of stay in a position where you can kick out to one side into the wind, then that'll give you a little bit more drag to slow you down if you are getting too fast, or if you've kind of overestimated how much power you need or how much pedaling you need. You can kick out, slow down a little bit, and then dock back in. And I'll kind of do that as I'm cruising. When you come to a hill, and what I've come to realize from riding with the guys is they pretty much sprint uphill always. And I think the theory is to maintain your speed no matter what, and that's kind of what they're focused on. But it just may be a matter of how they ride. So what I've realized is when you start getting close to a hill, get ready to sprint, because you're going to sprint to the top of that. Now I will, if I know the course, I may kind of back off at the very close to the very top and let them pull away from me a little bit, because I know that I'm going to be able to get to the other side and catch up to them and on the downhill. If you don't know the course, your best bet is to try to sprint and stay as close to them as possible, because once you lose that draft, it is quite a bit harder to catch up. And in what will happen when you go from drafting to not drafting, you'll notice a dramatic difference in how much effort you have to do to put out to even maintain the same speed. So if at all possible, you want to stay within that draft. So it's pretty much a necessity to sprint uphill. Corners. When you're cornering with this Peloton, what you'll notice is as soon as they corner, they start sprinting again. And I think the whole point is to corner as fast as you can. But then also, once you come out of that corner, their goal is to get back up to their cruising speed as quickly as possible. Going around corners, the first thing you want to do coming out of that corner is start sprinting. The last thing I would say, and is because you're in the back, you'll have breakaway groups. Like we'll have a group out of the front. So be ready, be watching for that. And the nice thing on the Vendetta is you can kick around and start chasing them down, but you need to make sure you're watching for that because they'll break away and take off, and before you know it, they're gone. And then I would say the last tip I would give you, don't feel bad about kicking around and dropping everyone. Sometimes you'll make it and sometimes you won't. And what I've noticed is by doing that, they're gonna try to keep up with you, and they may beat you, or you may be able to maintain your lead. And every time I've ridden it, it's been a different outcome. But it does make everyone better to do that, and because what I've noticed, it's not near as painful if you're chasing someone down compared to if you're just out there alone riding. So you don't notice the pain as much when you've got someone to chase. So don't feel bad about kicking out and trying to drop them, and then figuring out when you can time it and when you can. I've kicked out too early and tried to drop them, and I've worn myself out, and then they catch me on the next hill and then they drop me. So it goes back and forth, and so I think that's when some of the strategy will come in. But we'll do it to each other all the time. They'll do it to each other, and so that's kind of one of our things to getting towards the end of the race is we'll just start sprinting all out to see who can finish first, and it's all part of the fun, and it all makes all of us better riders. So anyway, good luck with learning to Peloton and practicing that skill. I'm going to continue. Hopefully I'll get to the point maybe where I'm comfortable riding in the middle of them. I don't ever feel like I'm wobbly or having trouble controlling the bike. Being up all in the middle of those bikes and not where I can't break out quickly if I needed to and take off. I'm just not quite comfortable with it yet. But it's getting easier and easier, and maybe at one point I'll get to there. But the one thing I did want to communicate in this video is the power of the Peloton is real. And the faster you can learn to take advantage of that, the faster you're going to be if you're riding in those kind of races where you're drafting. So anyway, that's all I've got, and I'll try to make sure and keep a better pace going for videos. I am riding so much right now. It is I hate even doing maintenance on the bike because I just want to be out there riding. In fact, I put off changing a tire too long and ended up with my first flat on the road. So I'll make a video and show you guys what I replaced out and what I've swapped out my tires for on that. But it's just so much fun riding. I just don't want to stop and do maintenance even. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well, and I will catch you later. Bye.